Well, hey guys, so I'm realizing now it was not a good idea to wear a sweater because it is hot in here. Are you kidding me? My battery's seriously dying and I just started. If this is your first time at my channel, hi, my name is Tabitha. I do a lot of random things on my channel, like this video. Today I'm just going to be sharing with you guys why I'm saving myself for marriage, why I'm saving myself for my husband, because I'm not here to tell you what you need to do. I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. I just want to be here on YouTube as an influencer to inspire you guys. I want to encourage you to ask questions and learn. Honestly, I don't know how to cover all of this in just one talk. Like, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to talk and I'm going to share with you guys like as if I was talking to my girlfriends about like why I'm gonna save myself till marriage, but like I don't know everything. I don't have all the answers. I'm only 19. I'm a little tiny child in this world of really wise, smart, beautiful people, and so all I can do is tell you that I'm gonna try my very best to be honest and vulnerable about this topic with you, and I hope that you can respect my view as I respect yours. And without further ado, let's get into the video. I'm trying to act like it's fall, but it is just way too hot, so I changed. Okay. I'm gonna start off by, I have no idea. I have like tons of notes here. Why don't we just address the question of the day? Why am I saving myself for marriage? Well, number one, I believe that my husband, whoever he is, whoever he will be, is worth that. He's so worth it to me, even though I don't know him, and that may sound silly. You know what? Before I even talk about that, I want to tell you guys that just because I'm saving myself till marriage does not mean I don't want to have sex, okay? It doesn't mean that it's easy for me. It doesn't mean that I'm not a normal human being who has normal sexual urges, and I'm sorry if that makes you cringe, but I know that deep down, even inside of me, forget the side that he's worth it, I want him to know that I'm worth it enough that he's fighting to save himself pure. Just like a quick FYI, I am a Christian, and the way I like to look at it is when people ask, they're like, are you religious? And I like to say no, because in my opinion, my relationship with God is a relationship, not like religious. It's a religion, but I don't like to think of it as I have to do these things to be loved. I don't have to do all these actions just to earn a place in his heart. And it's like think about it, if you were in a relationship and the only way a guy or a girl would love you is by you doing these things, it'd be like horrible. Anyway, so all that to say, I believe that it is a relationship and a lifestyle. It's something that I choose to do every day. Like, love is a choice. Love is something that I try to get to know God. I try to have fun with him. I try, to not look at it as something that I have to do. I'm saying that so that you know that a lot of this is gonna come from the place of like Christianity and what I believe. But then a lot of this also too is just things that I've learned from my friends telling me or life experiences in general. So anyways, let's just get started. So I'm gonna start off by telling you guys a story. I went to the guy at the time that I was with, and I told him, I was like, hey, like I was talking to God today, and I was with my girlfriends too. We were hanging out at the lake and we all decided, you know what, let's try to save our first kiss till marriage. First kiss, right? First kiss till marriage. And the cool thing about it is like, guys, if you've already had sex, it's okay. Like, don't feel like because you've done that now that you're like stuck and you have to keep having it, or you might as well just do it. But no, like, you are worth it. You are still worth it. It'd be like a saying to like a little baby that like starts to walk for the first time, and like trying to do this new thing, and like they fall, and then being like, okay, you fell, never try to walk again, you stink, just stay on the ground anyways, it doesn't matter, you're better there anyways. It'd be like, no, like you wouldn't say that to a baby. And like that's what I think of us as too. Like we're so young, we're babies, and if you're a Christian, like you're a baby Christian, we're all learning still. There's so much. And so like God understands that, and he loves you. And the thing that I've learned too in my relationship with the Lord and my walk with the Lord is that there's nothing that you can do to make God love you any less, okay? But then on the other side of that, there's nothing you can do to make God love you more. So there's nothing that I can do religious-wise. There's nothing I can do, these practices or like reading the Bible every day, that's not gonna make God love me anymore. And if I don't do it, it's not gonna make God love me any less. Yeah, maybe he'll be sad because he wants to spend time with me, or he wants me to get to know him, but God's not gonna love you any less. In saying that, it's okay to start now. Like, for example, there's this lady in my life who went through a divorce. And so she right now, she's not married, but she was married to this guy for almost 20 years. And now we were talking on the phone the other day, and she pretty much told me, she's like, yeah, like I'm gonna wait till marriage again. But she's already had sex, she's already done all that. She's still gonna wait. And I think that's so cool because I think a lot of times in our society, we have to realize that like sex is defined completely different. And so it depends on where you're looking. Like if you're looking at it from society, sex is something that we use to, like in the book, by the way guys, I'm gonna use this book so much to reference things. It's A Man Worth Waiting For by Jackie Kendall. If you have the opportunity to download it on Audible or get the book, do it. Like I have totally like written in here, I have highlighted everywhere. I love this book, it has changed my life. And guys, I've only read half of it. I haven't even read the whole thing yet. I just keep going back and reading the beginning over and over again because every time I do, I find so much like understanding and just So anyways, they talk about here how the media sells everything to everyone via the most successful marketing tool of sex. And it's just so true because God designed us to have sex. I know Christians get really upset at themselves a lot of times when like they have like sexual thoughts or blah blah blah. And like you had to realize we are sexual beings and we were created to do those things, but we're not supposed to be sexually active until we are married. And so that's a choice that I've made. I want to follow that. And like just to throw this in there, I found this out the other day and I was like, that is so mind-blowing, is that like God created sex to be the closest thing that we can fathom to understand God's love for us. And like, don't get me wrong, give me a second. I'm not saying that we're having sex with God. That is not what I'm saying. Even saying that makes me cringe. But the love that the Father has for us is just so incredible that he gives us this opportunity to physically be so close to someone. And when you have sex, you become one with that person. You are united on an emotional and spiritual level, blah, 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 level. And so that's why I think when you have sex before marriage, even if that person you think, like we're gonna get married anyways, like it's fine, you're making a physical commitment before you're ready to actually make the emotional one. And when I went up to this guy, right, and I was telling him like, I'm gonna save my first kiss till marriage, and like, obviously then I guess sex was implied in that, and he pretty much just looked at me and he said, well then you're not gonna be my first kiss. And I was just like, completely, first of all, that hurt me so much because then it made me feel not worth it, you know, because like I really liked this guy and like I thought he really liked me, but at the end of the day, like he did like me, but he also wanted other things too, and I couldn't give those to him, and so then therefore I became irrelevant. And so it's also become a little bit of like this nice little safety net because like now I know any relationship that I'm in, any guy that says he likes me, if I tell him these things about me and then he's just like, okay, bye, you know, then I know, okay, like I want him to love me for me. The next thing that we're gonna talk about is that sex is a good thing. So like a lot of times in the church, you know, they betray sex as like, sex is bad, don't do that, blah, 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 blah. And then the world is like, you know, live your life to the fullest, you know, experience things. And so it's like you have this one side and then you have this farther side. And I like to meet in the middle because I believe sex is a good thing and God created sex. And something else that I realized in my life is that maybe ask yourself why you feel like you need to have sex. Why is that something you feel like you need to? Do you feel like you need to because people are making fun of you? If that's the case, what I would encourage you to tell those people, if they're saying like, haha, like you're a virgin, like why are you even a virgin, like that's so lame, you go and you tell them, listen, I could have what you have any day. I could lose my virginity any day I wanted to. But guess what? You will never have what I have. Because it's so true, like I could go lose my virginity right now if I wanted to, but guess what? Once I do that, I can never have that back. Like I've truly given it away. And then that brings me to my next point, is that when you redefine sex, I've redefined sex in my life, and I think the world a lot of times, you know, they have sex because they need something, they want something, and they just, you know, they're trying to fulfill some sort of thing inside of them. And that's why I think it's so important we ask ourselves, like, why do we feel like we need sex right now? Is there something in our life that is empty? Are we hurting? Because at the end of the day, you know, sex is only gonna be a short little fulfillment. It's not going to solve the problem. It's not gonna fix anything, and it might even hurt you more in the future. It probably will. In this book, it talks about on page 72, a man needs to understand and develop the capacity to postpone a present pleasure for a future fulfillment. I've also just been learning a lot that like lust can't wait to get, but love can't wait to give. So I've kind of redefined sex in my life to be that like sex is giving. Sex is not about me. Sex is about giving to the other person and loving them and saying, you know what, I love you so much. I just want to be close to you. Like I want to like learn new things with you. And that's why on another side of it, why I'm saving myself till marriage is because I don't want to be that vulnerable with somebody until I get married, until I know that they are never going to leave, that they're going to be with me forever, that I'm in a safe, committed relationship like so much so that we're married. I think that it's so cool to figure that out together. So I'm gonna talk about my friends from right now. I've had friends that have had the same belief as me, that they're like, listen, we are saving ourselves to marriage, you know, go team purity. Then they went to college and that didn't happen. And I've had my girlfriends call me and we've talked about it, and they are so sad they didn't wait. And then I've had my girlfriends who are married right now tell me that like waiting is the best thing in the entire world. I've even had some adults tell me. One of them the other day just told me she was married at 27 years old and she waited until marriage. Now, 27 years? That is insane. Like, I'm 19 right now and like I'm fine like waiting right now because like I don't have a guy in my life, but like 27 years? And she did it. Like, she waited and she said that it was the best thing ever. And like even talking to people who got married in their 30s and they waited, and they say like, to think that they say that it was worth it, and like they don't say like, you know, go do it. Like, they still say after they struggled and they didn't do it and then they did it, and they like, that blows my mind. It just makes me think, I cannot imagine what that will be like to like go through all of that. It's such a struggle, and then be able to give that to my husband and say, listen, like, I waited for you. I hope you know that this was hard. Hope you appreciate it, and I hope you realize that, you know, you're worth it. And then I think also you learn more about yourself. Like, I've become so much more confident in who I am. I feel so much more worth it because I hold myself up here. You know, like, no guy is going to make me use my body to find love. Like, I'm not about to do that. Something that women don't tend to understand is that a man who does not keep his sexual urges under control before marriage will not be successful in controlling them during marriage. And like, I thought that was such like a moment because I was like, wait, what? Then she goes on to saying, what too many women must understand is that a sexual temptation does not subside with marriage, but actually increases in a different context. And like, I was reading this book and it's called Girl Wash Your Face, which is another great read, by the way. And she pretty much says like, when I got married, the more we had sex, the more I wanted to have sex. And I was like, wow, really? Like, I thought that, you know, the more you had sex, you just get bored of it. But you don't, apparently. So anyways, this is just a conversation. And another battery died. Okay. There was this one book I was reading again, and it's like Moral Revolution First Purity or something. I'll pop it up on the screen. But anyways, they tell this story in the book, and it's about this guy who has this girl in his dreams. He sees like, he goes to bed and he has this dream about a girl, and she's in this beautiful white dress, and he keeps dreaming about her, and he thinks, you know, maybe this is the girl I'm gonna marry, but he's never seen her before. And then he's on his way to school that next day and he sees this ring in a ring shop, and he's like, this is it. And then he remembers the girl, and he's like, I am gonna start working to get her that ring. So he works there for 3 years after school. Every day he comes to work at this ring shop, right? And he saves up enough money and he finally buys the ring 3 years later, right? And all throughout this time, you know, he's dreaming about this girl. He doesn't know who she is, but you know, he worked really hard to get her this ring. And so life goes on. He ends up going to fight in the military, and one of the times while they're in combat, I'm pretty sure, and something happens where he gets shot in like his shoulder, and he falls onto the ground and his helmet comes off, and the ring was in his helmet, and it starts rolling away. And so like, you know, all of his friends are like, let's go, like get down in the dig hole or however that is. And you know, he's like going after, he's like, I can't, like I need that ring. He fought so hard for that, he can't just give up now. So he goes and he gets the ring and he's okay, but obviously he blacks out because he's lost so much blood. And the next thing we know is that he wakes up in the hospital, and standing right above him is the girl from his dreams, and she ends up being the nurse. And so this is the first time he's seen her. He is just like, you know, so as he's starting to recover, he gets to know this girl. And long story short, obviously, he gives her the ring and they get married, right? And so the next day of their honeymoon, they go swimming in the ocean, and she ends up losing that ring in the ocean, and she's so upset about it, and she's crying, and she's like, I can't believe it, like you worked so hard for that ring and now I lost it, and like I'm so sorry and all those things. And he was like, okay, it's okay because I have you now. And the whole, I don't know if you guys have caught the idea of the story, but pretty much what they're talking about is that the ring symbolizes his purity. That like, that was something he fought so hard for. Like when he saw how worth it she was and how he was like, yep, she's it. She's all I want. He was like, it doesn't matter how long this takes me, how much I have to spend, like because that ring costs a lot of money and it took a lot of time for him to work for it or whatever. And then, you know, symbolically, she lost that ring in the ocean is because, you know, on their honeymoon, they lost their virginity. And that was something that, you know, was sad because that was something they fought so hard for. But at the end of the day, it's not about that. It's about the person, and it's about who you saved it for. And being able to present it to them and saying, listen, like, I worked so hard. This is a trophy that I have for you. And like, don't feel like you can't do that just because you're not a virgin right now, if that's something you go through, because I have boy and girlfriends that have, and they have decided from now on to save themselves. And like, that is just as hard. That is just as tough, if not more, because you know what the experience is, you know what it's like. Like, I don't know what it's like, so technically, like, it's maybe a little bit easier for me because I haven't exposed myself to that side of things, so I just really don't know, so I don't have much to think about too. But I can imagine how hard it is for those of you who have, so you can even say to him, listen, this was real hard for me, but you're worth it. So something in this book that was really like eye-opening to me is she starts talking about why is sexual self-control such a massive battle. One reason is that for many men, sex becomes a compensation for a lack of true self-worth. Because sex is a man's #1 need, it is easy for him to equate his need to his worth. And I started thinking about that, and I was like, yeah, you know, she's right. And then she goes on to saying, society has told men a lie that his ultimate value is tied up with not only his financial success, but also his sexual prowess. And it's so true because she says it perfectly, so anything I say is just gonna go back to what she said. But like, if guys and girls can feel this way too, like if you have a lack of self-worth, then you may think that you need something to fulfill your worth, right? Because your need and your worth are just so close to each other. And that's why I keep talking so much about, like, you are worth it. Like, you are worth so much more than what you feel right now. I'm gonna quickly like throw this in there. Just that if you guys have seen my past few videos, you've seen me talking about how I was in a long distance relationship last year. I attempted to be in one. And pretty much something good that I learned from the whole experience was that when you do long distance, you learn that you can't find your happiness in the other person because you don't get to spend as much time with them as somebody would. We got to communicate a lot, but like my happiness was found in the things that I love to do and in the Lord. And like, I think a lot of couples nowadays that are by each other, you know, they find their happiness in that other person. But that's really scary and not a good thing at all, because if you think about it, if something happens to your relationship and things get hard in your relationship between the two of you, if your happiness is that other person, then you're gonna be so mad at them when they let you down. But guess what, guys? People are gonna let you down. If you put your faith in people and your expectation that people are going to make you happy, they're always gonna let you down and you are gonna be so sad and heartbroken. So don't do that. And then it just all comes back to the fact that like sex is giving. It's not about taking. Maybe saving yourself till marriage in your relationship right now is something that is gonna be tough love. It's something that you're saying, listen, I love you so much that I'm not gonna have sex with you, okay? And guess what? You're just gonna have to deal with it because I love you so much that I wanna build our relationship on a strong foundation. I don't wanna mess this up with you because you're so worth it. I don't wanna kiss you and accidentally go too far and make our relationship all about being physical instead of having fun and enjoying the moments of being by you and being next to you and sharing life with you and getting to know you. Like, that is something that I think we all forget about, is that when you start being physical with someone, sometimes your relationship turns into just being physical and an expectation gets placed there, and then you forget about all the fun things. And I want my relationship with whoever I'm with to be built on the strongest foundation, so that when we get married, that we have this beautiful foundation built, so then we can grow our marriage and our family and our life together. There was this like talk thing I was listening to, and this woman, she starts talking about psychologically, when you have sex with somebody, it's like two pieces of duct tape that come together. And she said every single time that you do that and you break up with that person, or if it was a one-night stand, you are physically being ripped apart from that person. And have you guys ever tried to rip apart duct tape? It's like impossible. However, every time that you reconnect with another person, you rip apart, right? And then another person, rip apart. And the duct tape stickiness will get less sticky and less sticky. So there's two things to this. Not only will it hurt to be ripped apart from somebody and then ripped apart from another somebody after you're giving, loving that person, but also your stickiness gets lost. I was watching this video, I'll pop it up on the screen if you guys want to watch it. It has a little bit more scriptures about why you want to, if you want to save yourself, if you want to know like where it says it in the Bible and stuff. He was talking about the quickest way to complicate sex in the future is by using it right now in the present. And like, sex is such a good thing, but out of context, it can hurt people so badly. Say I'm pursuing YouTube right now, and then I got in this relationship and I, did all these things, got really emotionally tied to somebody, made that physical commitment without making the emotional commitment to marry them. And then he broke up with me or whatever, and I'm just completely like broken, obviously, because I really love this guy, right? Then it's gonna take me away from life, and I'm not gonna be able to focus on my YouTube. I'm not gonna be able to do the things I love, and it's just completely torn my life apart. Like, I have friends who, like, they plan on getting married, and so they're like, well, it's fine, like, we're just gonna have sex now. And like, that's a decision they made. Like, I'm only telling you about why I'm making my decisions. And so pretty much what I would have to say to that in my life is, if I was with somebody and yeah, we're engaged, if I love this person enough to have sex with them, then I want to love them even more to wait for them so that I don't mess it up. Because I want it to be something so special that we waited for, and then like we're at our wedding, and then we're just like, you know what? You guys have fun at my reception, bye. Maybe not to that extent, but just like something so excited, so funny, and then that we get to figure it out together, and that it'll be so special. And just like, I probably sound like a little idiot, but like, if you still at the end of this video are like, okay, Tabitha, like, I heard everything you said, and I'm trying to understand where you're coming from, but I don't know if that's something I want to do, that's okay. Because guess what? Like, life is all about asking questions and learning. Even when you're out of college, out of school, you still are learning things. And I just encourage you to try to hold sex higher than you did before, and realize that it's more than just a physical act, that it's actually something that's making you one with somebody. And like, I'll just share like a couple little scriptures. I may have been popping them up on the screen. Good job, Tabitha, if you were. Therefore a man shall leave his father and mother and hold fast to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. And that's why I like to think of, how when people are giving their wedding vows, they like say, you're my other half, and like, I don't know what I would do without you, and blah, 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 blah. You gotta remember that you are one by yourself. You don't need another person. But having another person and getting married to them, you have the ability to come 2 units into one strong unit. I have a video, if you guys wanna go watch it, how to know if he's the one. I talk a little bit more about this book, A Man Worth Waiting For, in there, and some other things that maybe will help you understand where I'm coming from a little bit more. I just ask that you don't feel like you have to have sex because everybody else is doing it. Because girl, boy, whoever you are out there are multiple people who are saving themselves for marriage or are trying so hard. But you don't hear about them because when we come out like this, a lot of people like to bash us. And so I just encourage you to guard your heart. And like, for example, in the beginning of the video, how I told that guy that I was gonna save my first kiss till marriage, when he told me that I wasn't gonna be his first kiss, not only did that hurt me and our relationship, but that hurt that special, new, purity promise that I made to God and made to myself. Because I trusted this guy, and I was like, oh my gosh, he's gonna be so excited for me, this is something we're gonna do together. But you gotta remember that you can't hold people to that expectations, because people are gonna let you down. You're gonna let yourself down. You're gonna make mistakes. Don't beat yourself up about it, okay? Get rid of your shame, and remember that there's nothing you can do to make God love you any less, and nothing you can do to make God love you anymore, okay? Last thing I'll say is, whenever I'm in a place where I physically want to give myself to somebody, I ask myself, am I ready to physically give myself away to that person and uphold the promise that comes with it? That is being with them forever. So yeah, I love you guys. I wish you all the best. If you need to talk to me about anything, you can DM me on Instagram and we can talk together, or in the comments below if it's less private. I'll see you guys in my next video next Tuesday, okay? Bye guys.